All right, everyone, we're going to get started in just one moment. For now, I'm going to actually launch our poll, asking you a couple of questions about, your previous experience as an advisor for any MUN, as an advisor for AUSMUN, and also as an advisor, I'm sorry, not as an advisor, whether you've actually ever participated as like a delegate in the past, maybe the recent future and maybe not so recent. So I'm going to launch that and go ahead and respond as you have, some time. It'll stay up for quite a bit. And all right. While you're doing all of that, we'll go ahead and get started. As I mentioned previously in my email, we're going to actually record this workshop so that you'll be able to refer back to it. And also we'll send you the slides as well afterwards, but please pay attention during so that you'll have a chance to address us during the Q&A. Once we finish presenting this information that we think you'll find valuable, at the end, we will actually open the chat and turn on all the mics or everything, or allow you to turn on your mic so that you can ask any questions. When you do so, it'd be great if you turned on your video so that we can see who we're talking to and, try to start getting familiar with all of our amazing delegate advisors. So yeah. All right. Thank you so much. That's so nice of you. I know it's hard sometimes, especially at this time of day, to have to be on a Zoom and have a camera on. So yeah. Okay, so welcome everyone to our first Delegate Advisor Workshop. This was an initiative that was, it's been asked for previously in the past, and we're really excited to offer it for the first time now, and we're hoping to expand it in the future. And so hopefully you all aren't worn out from the earlier events. I know some of you probably showed up at the delegate advising today as well, and still have a little energy left for us. So I'm Janice Lusk. I am a sociology professor here at AUS. I've been here since 2016, and I've actually been working with Model UN since then. A couple of the years, I was more of a co-advisor or background advisor because I had been on maternity leave that year. And so this is probably, I think, my second or third time as the head advisor for this group. I never participated in a Model UN growing up. I didn't even know anything about it. But when I got here and saw the nerdy energy that our students give to Model UN, I immediately wanted to be a part of it and a part of just watching them do what they do. So yeah, that's me. And I'll also introduce Ms. Ghazal Hijazi. She's not here, but I'm sure all of you have been interacting with her in some way, shape, or form throughout. And if not, you should know that she is, like, as far as on the advisor side for AUS, she is like the driving force of everything that goes on. She does all the bookings for us. She and I work together to do all the ordering and, all this like organizational stuff, or, a lot of things working with money in the background to get things going. And she does that as a part of her job that's really not a part of her job. She's the administrative assistant for our department. And so she has a whole other full-time job. And she is a very busy woman, and she loves Model UN. So she takes time out of her, of her work in order to help out. So yeah, so again, I'm Janice, and that's Ghazal. She's not here, but yeah, she's amazing. So if you see her at the conference, say hi and tell her how awesome she is. All right, Alisher, do you want to go ahead?
Hello, guys. My name is Alisher Khaliarov, and I'm one of the faculties attached to the MUN. I'm newly joined to the AUS recently, and I'm looking forward to working with you. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm the last co-advisor on the faculty. My name is Stephanie Shady, and I am new to AUS this year. I'm very excited to be here. And I wanted to dive into joining AUSMUN because I have been in Model UN since my college days. So I participated as a delegate in about 6 conferences as a college student. And then after that, I loved it so much that I joined the staff for National Model United Nations and ran 4 conferences in New York City. So I really love this group and I love watching the students put this together. And something I wanted to say that really impresses me about these students is I was organizing conferences as a graduate student with other graduate students and young professionals. And these are undergraduates doing that same really hard work. So I'm really impressed with the way that AUS has built this program.
Hi, everyone. My name is Reem Al-Dulaimi, and I'm the Secretary General for this year's conference. So I'd also love to introduce our student board, who is, unfortunately, not all of them could be here with us today because, as Dr. Lusk mentioned, we did have the delegate workshop earlier, so they were all caught up with that. But our Deputy Secretary General is Shahid Mahmoud. Our Head of Human Resources is Sarah Abuqtish. Our Director of Media is Salih Hasaqib. Our Director of Logistics is Mohammed Junaid, who I'm sure you've had many interactions with over email regarding allocations and such. Our Head of External Relations is Samir Khan, and our Director of Research is Huda Imran. So something that's very interesting about our group, like Dr. Shady mentioned, is we are all undergraduate students. We all have a complete and full workload as students. Many of us do take 5 full-time courses, and some of us do take on additional courses. So sometimes we do 6 or 7 courses per semester. So a lot of us are part of MUN, and because we love it, this is a volunteer-based program. So we all choose to dedicate some of our time to this. And a lot of us have continued with MUN as part of our love for it since high school. So we've just continued all that going into university. And this is something, as Dr. Shady said, again, it's a great learning curve for us because it does help us dive into what the real world looks like, planning and arranging things at a younger age. But we do love it and we will continue loving it. But if you have any questions or would love to reach out to any of us, you can do that specifically. So if you have anything specific towards logistics, you can reach out to Junaid, logistics@AUSMUN. If you have anything to do with media or questions about like the position papers that are coming up, you can directly ask Human Resources. All our emails are just our position@AUSMUN. And if you have any other questions, you can reach out to us or on the day of the conference. This is who we are. And if you have anything, we'd love to help you out during the conference.
Thank you, Reem. Thanks, Stephanie and Alisher also. So later on, we're going to talk about some of the specifics and, how you can identify the participants during the conference and the board members and the different organizers as well, and some email contacts and things like that going forward. So first, we're going to start by talking about some of the delegate expectations, and Stephanie is going to take that over, I believe, right? Or is it the next one?
Either one. I was going
okay. Okay. I think this is me. Sorry. Okay. Because you guys have already heard this. I'm sure, or you probably already know, these sorts of expectations because you're teachers, right? Or some sort of faculty working with young people. But we just want to reiterate what we expect from the delegates as far as, beyond their experience, right, in their activity and interaction. Because if we do have any areas of challenge during a conference, usually it's about behaviors and expectations, unfortunately. So delegates are expected to listen respectfully and quietly, and this is at all times, right? Although this is a learning experience for not just the delegates, but also our organizers and our board members, the delegates are expected to be respectful to everyone in leadership. right? So that begins with our opening ceremony, which can sometimes feel long. This year, we have done our best to make it as fast as possible and as interesting as possible so that people will feel more motivated to stay focused and be quiet and be respectful. But we know sometimes it goes a little long. And so for that event in particular, and also for the gala and award ceremony at the end, when they're very excited and they want to celebrate, we really encourage the delegates, but also the advisors to help us in making sure that they're being respectful so that everyone can enjoy the experience. And especially during the committee sessions and things like that, I'm not saying that they should be quiet during those sessions, but they should be respectful to one another and respectful to the chairs and all of the leadership. They're expected to follow instructions of the board members, the advisors, the organizing staff. By advisors, I mean both the AUS advisors and also the delegate advisors, or you, and any safety officers, including our security. If security gives them an instruction, they need to listen to it. If they think the instruction seems wrong or inaccurate, they need to listen to it and then also come and tell us, and we'll, let them know what the deal actually is, and communicate respectfully to everyone. And that includes you all as well. They need to be respectful to everyone involved. So if you have a student who's not being respectful to you, let me know, okay? And I will deal with them personally. Maintain professional attitudes and appearance. Earlier today, Reem spoke, Sada and HR spoke to the students about the expectations for their appearance in particular, and how they should be professionally dressed, how they need to follow, the expectations of Sharjah and AUS as well, and making sure that no one, male or female, is wearing a low-cut top or has their shoulders out, or anything above the knee, right? And so they need to, at all times, have this professional appearance from the beginning until the end, all the way through the events, the gala dinner and everything. And then good sportsmanship, right? They have to practice good sportsmanship and reflect a spirit of diplomacy. And this is super important. One of the things that we find a bit discouraging is that we get to the end of an amazing weekend and we find that students and sometimes advisors are feeling a bit disappointed that their students or their delegations didn't win a specific reward, or that others did. And while we understand that people might feel like things are unfair, and maybe for just reasons, again, this is a learning opportunity, and everyone that's making all of the decisions, they are students, university students. I don't choose best delegation, best anything. Stephanie doesn't, Alisher doesn't. Nobody on the AUS administration does. It's only our undergraduate students that are making these choices and selections, and we want it to stay that way, and it will stay that way. And so, give them grace, give them understanding as well. Like, I trust them. They've been in the room. They have, done this for several years. Many of the chairs have been doing this for, they'll say 12 conferences, 13 conferences. And, this is their conference. Okay. And so while, if you feel like something like out of what the ordinary has occurred and you have some sort of evidence of that, I'm game for it. Send me an email the following week. But at the events dinner, at the gala dinner, at the gala dinner, at the awards dinner, that's not the time or, the place to have these sorts of like unsportsmanlike conversations, or, displays. And so they're expected to show good sportsmanship. That's a part of being a good delegation, being able to congratulate others, being able to be happy for others who may have won, and being able to accept that this time it wasn't your time, right? Knowing that there's going to be other opportunities, knowing that there's going to be another AUSMUN next year. All right, there we go. So Stephanie is going to talk to you about the role of delegate advisors, because this has been a big question that even we haven't been able to really answer in the past. And so hopefully this will be really helpful.
Yeah, so I wanted to share some of these experiences based on my own observations as a student delegate advisor in the past, as well as observing how faculty advised me when I was a delegate. So the faculty advisors are really important for supporting students both as they're preparing for the conference, getting ready to visit AUS in February, and also while we're at the conference. We do want to highlight that only registered delegates as well as registered advisors should be in attendance. So we can only have one advisor per delegation. So if you're not registered, you're not able to bring additional advisors to the conference. And we'll have a set of lanyards with badges for all of those who are registered to make sure that everyone who's on campus is supposed to be there. We'll show those to you in the next slide. We really ask for your help in helping remind delegates of appropriate diplomatic behavior, respect for other delegates as they're working with each other, as well as respect for everyone working at AUS and our guest speakers and all of our undergraduate facilitators. So it's really important to be keeping track of them as they are on the campus. We have two main buildings, the SBA building and the HSB building, where our primary committee sessions will be taking place, and we'll have some event spaces as well. It's really important that you make sure that students are in those appropriate spaces at the right time, and that they are being respectful in those buildings as others do work in those buildings. Excuse me. There are a couple of ways that you can support your students to participate actively in committee, but we do ask that you don't interrupt committee sessions, either as an advisor or if you are having your own photographers outside of the committee rooms, that's fine. But inside the committee rooms, we have a really, really fantastic set of photographers of our own students who will take really good pictures for you and have those available. So we ask that you do not enter the committee rooms so that the students can really take ownership of their own work. This was something really important to us when I was facilitating Model UN conferences, that it's not the advisor's work, it's not the faculty telling students what they should write in the resolutions, but really that the students come up with these ideas on their own. And they do a really good job. So the ways that you can encourage them to participate in those committees and allow them to take ownership is encouraging them to participate in speeches, encourage them to work hard in contributing their ideas to mock resolutions as they're writing. Some students might have different strengths. So active participation doesn't mean you're the loudest one in the room necessarily, or the one that's always talking. I personally was a very quiet delegate, and I often liked to be the writer, and I would help combine ideas. So there are a lot of different valuable ways to contribute. You might have really strong writers, really strong speakers, really strong students who can combine different ideas or help negotiate really well. So encourage students to reflect on their own strengths, as well as areas where they might want to grow, to think about participation more holistically. And we also expect you to remind your students of the diplomatic behavior, as Janice just discussed, by not only reminding them, but by modeling it for them. This is particularly important with awards, as Janice just mentioned, that awards are not the primary goal of the conference. The primary goal of the conference is learning, building skills like speaking and writing and diplomacy. So we really encourage you to model that diplomacy for your students by accepting awards gracefully, whether or not you've received them, and congratulating those who do receive them. We really ask that you do not approach, especially our undergraduate committee chairs during or after the awards ceremony about awards. There are a lot of deserving delegates, deserving students who have participated, but that doesn't mean that all of them are going to receive an award every single time, but there will be other opportunities. So please do model that behavior for your students. All right, and I will pass it back to Janice to talk about our badges.
All right, so there are a couple of things I want to highlight again here, in addition to some things I missed, and also just repeating what Stephanie and Dr. Shady has already said. One of the important things for delegate advisors is keeping track of your own students. I think that that's pretty much one of the primary, like, physical, tangible roles that you play during that weekend. That's what you physically are there for. We do not keep track of the students. And I think you all have received a liability waiver and things like that. It's on the advisors to keep track of them. They shouldn't be wandering around on campus on their own. And I know that this is big. Right. I know we're asking for a lot, and that you can't be in different buildings at once, but, try to make the rounds, try to, maybe make a WhatsApp group for your students so that if there's an emergency, they can get in touch or something like that. But yeah, we will do our best. We're not going to ignore students, and we're going to, ask like, hey, where are you supposed to be? Do you need help? And things like that. But, we, as the advisors in particular, and even as the board members, may not know exactly where they are at a certain moment. Their chairs will know that. Logistics committee can help with that as well. And we'll talk about who those people are momentarily. So another thing is not having these interruptions to the committees. In the past, this has been a big issue, unfortunately. We have our own photographers. We try to get as many photos as possible. Sometimes it takes longer to get those photos to you all. And again, that's because we are doing a full university, job here. The students have full schedules, and especially our board members, because they are often like senior students. The three of us, we have full loads, unfortunately, as well. And so this counts as one of the many service requirements that we have, even though we do this one because we want to, actually. And it's really hard to actually staff this position because it's such a big job. And so we try to do things as quickly as we can, given the resources we have, which for us, the main resource we need is time. And that's the one we absolutely don't get when it comes to planning the conference. I don't know if you all know this, but we start planning this conference in the summer. You guys leave, have your wonderful weekend, inshallah, and you leave. And then within weeks, we are now interviewing the next board members, getting them installed, doing a transition meeting. And in the summer, all summer, they're meeting. We're working on getting things set up, and it just goes year round. And so we are constantly working on this conference, but also doing the other jobs we have with no relief, no time relief. And I'm sure as, educators, you are familiar with, needing that time resource and not having it available. So yeah, no school photographers or advisors in those committee sessions. And like Stephanie said, the spirit of good sportsmanship and grace, that is, not just for the student organizers, but also the advisors, so that you're teaching your students how to be graceful and respectful as well. Please do not approach the chairs after the awards. Some of the common complaints that we've received in the past have been that the treatment of AUSMUN organizers has been not great, and that they've had some, they've been shouted at by delegate advisors, that they've been threatened, that they've had people ask them for their identification so they could report them, all over Model UN stuff. Okay. It's not that serious. It is serious. We love it, but nobody knows, no college student is prepared to deal with being threatened to be reported to authorities. So please, you all, please be respectful, be kind, and have your students do the same. And if you have any issues where our organizers have been disrespectful or anything like that, it's the same thing. Let us know. Continue to be kind, continue to be the bigger person, so that your students, will, see that model behavior. But let me know, send me an email or something like that. So yeah, did I miss anything? No, okay. Sorry, all, I talk a lot. It's a problem. All right, so the next thing is looking at who's who at AUSMUN 2023. And the way that this has been presented has varied from year to year. Every time we get a new board, they think of their own organizational structure, and we just keep up with it, and say, okay, fine, and buy them what they need. So for this year, the board members, so everyone on those first two slides, right? The board members include all of the advisors, and all of the main directors of the different committees, right? We don't wear a lanyard. We only wear the like magnetic badge, right? So that's how you'll know who we are. If we're walking around saying hi to you and you don't see a lanyard, look for the badge, and that's how you'll be able to see who it is. Also, you'll have this cheat sheet once I send it to you that you can use as well. And so this is what the badge will look like to some extent. It's going to be on gold, metal, whatever. Everyone else, all of the participants and organizers will wear lanyards like these. And I know from day to day, you know, you may take it off to go to sleep or to take a shower. I get it. Right? But make sure that when you come back on the following day that you have your lanyard with you, because that's how we know you're supposed to be here after you have arrived. So the delegates will get our classic red lanyard, and you all as delegate advisors will get the black lanyard, right? So it makes it easy for us to see who you are, right? And then the rest of the organizers, the teams that go along with each of these board members, will have their own color. Human resource, it will be wearing a sky blue. Logistics will be wearing a very dark and navy blue. External relations will be wearing this like purpley lilac color. And then media will be standing out with green. And there are different numbers of people for each of these organizing groups. I think the one that you'll see the most is logistics. There are tons of logistic organizers, and they're the ones who are doing all of the behind the scenes work. They're the ones who are doing registration when you come in. They're the ones who are handling IT stuff, who are, you know, helping the students find which room they're supposed to go to and things like that. They're usually the go-to people, right? But again, remember, they are young people, and some of them may even be new to AUS. It may be only their second, you know, semester here. And so again, show patience to them as well. The human resources folks are the ones who are in charge of the chairs. Or they are the chairs as well. And then there's external relations, and they're typically working with all of our speaker, our vendors and things like that, who will be at, for example, social night. And then media, these are the folks who are going to be taking photos. You know what? We don't have a research badge or lanyard? I guess not. All right. But media will be taking photos. They're the photographers that you'll see. They prepare all of the background guides and things like that, along with research. And so, yeah, if they stop and want to take a photo of you, please graciously accept, because we need, you know, that content and things like that. All right. Here's our conference schedule, and I'm not going to go through every single item on that schedule with you. We'll be sending this to you. You should have already received it as well in our administrative documents. But I do want to point out a couple of things here. Primarily, our opening ceremony this year is a little earlier than it's been in the past. So note that. These breaks that have a star next to them. For example, on the first day, there's a short break. On the second day, we have the lunch break and social night. And on the last day, we have another lunch break. Those are not catered events, right? Or catered breaks. For those breaks, we will send you the list of outlets that will be open, right, for the weekend on campus. They can order talabat, or you can order talabat for your students or something like that. They can bring food, but just know that for those breaks, we will not be providing food. We provide food during anything that says, coffee break, like here at 4 p.m. on Saturday. And at the opening ceremony, before the opening ceremony, during registration, there will be food available. And also during the award ceremony, of course, we'll be having a buffet dinner that's provided as well. And all of that, those will be included already in your registration. It's nothing extra. For social night in particular, there's going to be vendors that are coming, like food trucks or whatever. They'll be up in the plaza. And so your students can have some cash with them and buy things there as well. But for the others, the short break and the lunch breaks, they can go into our student center, and I'll show you where that is shortly, or bring their own food or order or something like that. Here's a map of our campus and where things are primarily going to be located, and we'll send this to you. So this is our main gate, or our main roundabout, and most everything is going to be happening, between that main building and the buildings that flank it to the left and the right. The main building is where registration is, so that's where you're going to come on Friday, right? That's your first stop. That's where the opening ceremony is. And then throughout the weekend, anything that's labeled coffee break, that's where that's going to occur as well, all in the main building. The students will be actually in the HSB buildings. This is new, right? This is the building that INS is in now. So we're happy that we're able to host you as the ones who host the conference all together. We have a renovated building. So that's building 2 here, or they'll be in building 6, right? So that's what I was saying. They're going to be spread out a little bit. Your job will be running back and forth between those 2 buildings, but look, they're straight across. So that helps, I hope. So they'll have their committee meetings in those 2 buildings. Some other things I want to highlight beyond the main 3 buildings are the mosque that is located here. It's right next to the HSB building. You'll hear the call to prayer very loudly and clearly from HSB and the rest of campus as well. And then the Student Center building, which again, it's right down the street from, or not down the street, sorry. It's right down the way from the main building from HSB as well. The Student Center is where we have a lot of dining options available. Well, a lot might be a bit generous, but we have Subway, Burger King, maybe I think Breakpoint will be open as well. Dunkin' Donuts, and some others. I think they'll be letting us know which outlets will be open and what their hours are soon. And then over here where the little heart is located, that's where the health center is. We will have nurses on call over the weekend to respond to any health emergencies. But if a student is feeling unwell and you just want to go directly there, you feel free to. You would just walk down this way, and then there's like a set of stairs that goes down to the bottom, like a parking lot area here, and that's the entrance to the health center. And then for the 2 big events, the social night and the gala dinner, those will be outdoors in front of the main plaza. This is where they've typically taken place in the past. Yes, they will be outdoors, open air. There's going to be plenty of seating for everyone. We do ask that you keep the front row of seats open, right? We will have some reserved tables there, and you all are welcome to sit in any seats anywhere else beyond those front row tables, but those are for like our campus administrators, the board members as well, to sit in those seats. And so please leave those available. Since the gala dinner is outdoors, that means that it's pretty loud. And there's a lot of noise. And so we ask again that this is one of those areas where you step in and help us to keep your students calm. We've had some really rowdy and rambunctious groups. And while we want you to celebrate, we want everyone to be able to celebrate as well. And when there are particularly loud groups, then we don't get to have that same opportunity of celebration for the smaller or the less loud groups. And so asking your students to remain seated is important. Asking your students to keep it down and have quick celebrations is also important. And also asking them to wait to the end of the event to do group photos. No one coming up to the stage to do group photos and things like that during the event. Everyone wait to the end. We actually don't want anyone congregating near the front of the stage or standing in front of the dinner tables, right? The dinner tables are the line where no one should cross, the front row of dinner tables, because it blocks the view for everyone. And you know how that phenomena goes. Everybody actually wants to remain seated, but as soon as somebody stands up, then other people have to stand up so they can see beyond them. And so let's try to avoid that by having everyone stay seated and stay calm, respectful, and professional. Another thing we deal with is, because it is in an open space, is that sometimes the delegates somehow get some of their friends onto the campus and have them come to get a free dinner. We can't afford that, okay? We can't afford that. Our vendor who provides the dinner won't appreciate it and may charge us more in the future, which means we have to charge you more in the future. And so please note that we can't have anyone who's not registered coming for the dinner, including delegates, advisors, like, you know, even for ourselves. There's a head count that's already been taken, basically, and we're already over it. So, you know, please try to keep your students from bringing their friends and inviting friends as well. If you have any questions about this at the end, of course, bring it up. But I'll be sending this little map to you as well.
Can I just add one thing about HSB?
Yeah.
Our new building is beautiful. We love it, but it echoes a lot. So if you're in the main entryway in that lobby, please make sure that you have your students watch their volume, because it will disrupt other people if they're still in committee sessions and things like that.
Oh, good point. Thank you so much. Yeah. And we might even have faculty that are coming in to work over the weekend as well. So we need to be respectful of that. Another thing, you just reminded me of this. If for the advisors are always looking for space, right? Instead of having a dedicated space, because we have so many nice spaces that you can use, I'm just going to suggest some of the spaces on campus. In HSB, and the ground floor, there's this atrium that is beautiful. It's got sofas. It's got some like working spaces off to the sides as well. You are welcome to use that space as you like. Behind us, so in building 2, that's where HSB is. Behind us is this big, huge engineering building. It has a Dunkin' Donuts in it, and it also has some spaces where you can congregate as well. If you actually want to get away from your students, you could go over there, or if you just want to go grab a coffee. And then SBA, if you've been to MUN before, you already know about this probably. At the ground floor, the bottom floor, there is a Blends and Brews, and there are some sofas and things surrounding that as well. And that's a great hangout space. And so we don't have a dedicated space that you're restricted to, but we have several spaces that you can use. You can plug in, you can get on the guest Wi-Fi, which will give you all that information later, and you can get comfortable. But actually, we expect that you're gonna, you know, have your little home base, but also be kind of walking around looking to see what's going on. And of course, as advisors, those who are registered, we're expecting only registered advisors will come. Okay, because again, we can't afford any extra people. We're already over the limit. And so you're, of course, included in our coffee breaks and the reception and the gala dinner. You're all covered, all right, as well. And so join us for those things. But if you want to go get a coffee on your own, please have at it, enjoy it. I like Starbucks on campus, so yeah. All right, this is one of the last things that I was asked to mention by Human Resources in particular. Our students actually have so much control over what's going on that they even had a lot of input in these slides. The students wanted, the board members wanted to make sure you had contacts for your students, for your delegates, because we know that there are questions coming up about position papers and committees and things like that. And instead of getting in contact with the board members or the advisors, they wanted to make sure you had the email addresses of the appropriate committee contacts, right? So all of those are Gmail addresses, and each one is basically named after the committee. And so this will be sent to you as well. But remind them, if they have questions about their position papers or anything like that, they should go to the committees first, and then to Sarah, who is the Director of Human Resources, if they don't get their question answered by their committee. Okay, and tell them, please, 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 to have patience. They will not necessarily get a response in the few hours after they've sent the question. Again, we start back on the 23rd, right? And so the turnaround, like, give them at least 24 hours, if not a little more. So that means like no last minute questions, please, by email as well. And I was also asked to tell you that position paper extensions will be given based on the majority for each committee. I don't completely know what that means, but that's what it is. Maybe your delegates will understand if they receive that message. And another thing for contacts, so advisors, we don't give out our phone numbers or anything like that. You can imagine. I've before been in WhatsApp groups with delegate advisors and things, and it got really out of control. And so while you all are welcome to create your own WhatsApp group, you don't need to invite me. It's cool. You can send me emails, because I mean, honestly, I have 4 kids at home and things like that. It gets a little much at some point. And we all, I mean, like Stephanie's busy, Alisha is busy as well. Email is the best way to communicate with us. It's the quickest way to get a response from us as well. Calling my office phone, it's on the email, but I'm in my office every day, kinda, but I'm teaching classes and things like that. And so it's hard to catch me like physically at my desk, ready to answer a phone as well. So email, the best way to communicate with me. I'm sure Stephanie, Alisher, and even Ghazal will say the same thing. All right. So I think that's it. If you have any questions, let us know. I know that one thing that you should be preparing to hear about, and I think Reem might bring this up as well, is a request for the details for the buses and things like that are coming through, so that you won't have many hiccups at security. All right. But Reem, did you want to say anything about that, or you just want to send an email later? What do you want to do?
I could say something now and then follow up with an
Okay.
email. So basically what we do and we would require from each of you advisors is to send the designated contact info. So your phone number, your full name, your email address, and the bus number that you are going to be coming to the campus in. I know it's difficult sometimes to get the exact bus number. But if you do have that and the details of the license plate, if you could send that over to info@ausmun.com as soon as you can, so we can get that over to our security department, so that when you're entering campus during the conference day, you're not holed up at the door for long, and you can make the process of you entering campus, registering, and everything a lot more smooth.
Okay. So I am going to allow you all to unmute. If you can use the raise your hand function or something, that'd be great. In the meantime, I'll be trying to figure out how to let you all have chat access again as well. But yeah, I don't know that one as easily. So one moment. I think participants. If one of the co-hosts can figure it out before me, go ahead. I'm having that clicking issue
For chat.
Yeah, ask all to unmute. All right, so you can unmute, I think now. You did the chat?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So if you have questions, this is the time. And again, if you could turn your cam on, that would be great. If you want to use the mic, that's fine. If you want to send a question via chat, that's great too.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. It was very helpful. Hello. Yeah. I'm Rushda Said. My students are participating in the MUN from IAS. So I have one question regarding, you guys mentioned that for the school bus information that we should provide, right?
Yes. Reem, can you write in the chat the information that you need? I think they're going to send you an email as well about it.
But yeah, I have a question that all of my students, they're coming on their own transport.
Oh, that's fine.
So, yeah, that's fine. They don't have to what about their security check and everything?
So there's no issues if they're coming on their own. It's more of like if a single bus is coming, we would need the information which bus. But if your students are arriving all on their own, I would suggest to ask them to all arrive at the same time, because we register an institution at once. So we have like all the goodie bags, all their lanyards, and even the advisors' lanyards all in one box. So as soon as your entire institution or your entire delegation arrives, we will hand it over that single box. We will not each one of your students at once. So it may be better to either come together or to have all of you meet up together and then come into the registration room together at once.
Or to even
Okay.
have the advisor make sure that they're the first one that
Yeah.
arrives or something. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. That's it. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? In the meantime, another thing I
Hello,
want
good
to
evening.
bring up. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm Maria. I'm the faculty advisor for the students from SAIS UAQ. And I've been getting questions regarding the position paper. Could you please tell me a bit more about it?
So is your question about what the position paper is, or like when the deadline is, or?
Yes, because it says that in the handout, it says that there are 2 topics based on what the committee says, but we haven't received any topics.
So we actually don't send out topics. Our topics have been on our website since, I believe, September. So all the topics are on the website and you can find them according to each committee. If you go on AUSMUN.com, there's a tab that says topics. You just click that and then it says all the humanitarian committees specific to their committee. So like CSW, and then it would say specifically topic 1 is XYZ and then topic 2 is XYZ.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Has it been extended, the deadline?
So the deadline for all English committees is the 17th of January.
Yes.
And the deadline for the Arab League Arabic is the 22nd of January. As of yet, there's no extension.
There's no, but if they do require an extension, can they ask your committee for it?
So they should request through their actual committee, through the emails
Yes,
that
they'll okay.
But again, it's case-to-case basis. It's not necessarily that if they request for a extension that they'll get one.
Yeah, okay, got it. Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you. One of the things I wanted to point out, I forgot. Darn it. I can't remember anyway. We're excited too. Yay. I'm excited to see that most of the attendees at today's meeting are new. So welcome. We're excited to have some new advisor energy. We're excited to have our, seasoned advisor energy too. It's nice to see folks who have been coming for at least since I've been here the last 6 years. So welcome back and welcome to all of our new folks. It's really exciting. I absolutely can't remember what I was going to mention. Absolutely. There's something, and it was kind of important. Eek. Oh, well, I don't know. Any other questions? Yes, please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm sorry for asking, but delegate advisors mean teachers, if I'm not wrong.
It could mean several different people. But usually, yes, it is a teacher or an educator from one of our schools. But yeah, there's sometimes advisors that are actually from within the school. I know for Sharjah, is it Sharjah English, I think? It kind of seems like one of the advisors has evolved from being a student who's doing it, perhaps. I don't know. But yeah.
Okay, there's the problem. Me and my friend here in this meeting, we're doing a double delegation and we're students, and we got sent this email for this Zoom link saying that we're delegate advisors. So we were just confused.
There might be an issue with registration. Did you and your friend register your delegation?
Yeah, we did. And we did write that we're a double delegation for Venezuela, General Committee 3.
All right. So is there an advisor for your delegation?
We were not told, or not, neither me or her were sent an email.
All right. So if there's no advisor, I don't know. Reem, go ahead. Take care of it. You look like you have something to say.
Yeah, Amelia, are you a part of a school?
Yeah, the Winchester School of Jabal Ali.
Winchester School. So I believe your advisor is actually Miss Amanda Poe. Maybe you should contact her because she should actually be the one that's in this meeting and not you. The delegates were supposed to be, the workshop was between 12 to 4 earlier today. That was for the delegates. And right now, 6 to 7 should be for all your advisors.
Yeah, the meeting for the delegates, it was a Zoom meeting or was it in real life?
No, it was on campus from 12 to 4 p.m. today.
Oh, okay, thank you.
No problem, but I'm assuming that you missed the delegate workshop earlier, so you can go
Yeah.
through all the information and through the guides on our website. And if you have any specific question, you can always just ask human resources at AUSMUN.com.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So I'm doing with Amelia for double delegation, and I have a question because no one told us, and our teacher, Miss Amanda, didn't tell us about that. There's one of you guys sent us that you're supposed to attend this meeting, and because it's in Georgia, so it's really far from here, and we were not told to go there. So I don't know.
Well, I do apologize that you were not able to make it. There was some really valuable information, but all the information is still on our website. I'm sorry, it seems like there may have been a miscommunication regarding which workshop you should have been attending. So just again, this is for the advisors or the teachers in particular, which is why we went through some like administrative information. If you have any specific questions that you want to be answered as a delegate, you can directly contact our Director of Human Resources, Sarah Aboktish, at humanresources@ausmun.com if you have any specific questions about that.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
All right, any other questions? Oh, I remembered. Okay, so the thing I wanted to point out is that we do have annually an advisor meeting. And this year it's going to be on the second day instead of the third day. Usually we do it right before the last session or during the last session. And this time we're going to do it the day before. And that's way, if there's anything that's going on that we can immediately help with or, create a change with, we can take care of it before Sunday, inshallah. And so you'll get information about the time and location for that. That's kind of an moment where you guys are expected to give us feedback. That can include any praises or any constructive criticism that you might want to provide. And it's attended by our board members, usually the Secretary General, the Deputy Secretary General, and HR are there, as well as the advisors, the faculty advisors. So we'll sit around, we'll ask you all to, give us anything you need to give us, any ideas. Sometimes we get some very grand ideas, which are great. And we love hearing them so that we can try to ask our dean for more money. But keep in mind that we do run on money. And the money we get is not that much. And the money we get from you is also not that much. I know it seems like a lot, but it's not enough to cover each delegate and or advisor. And so it takes all of it combined in order for us to pay for what we do have now. All right. And so, we're on a budget. and so we will try to implement things in the future. But yeah. There's a question about when we're going to share the recorded meeting. I want to add a couple of notes and make a proper, email to send out to you all. So I'll probably be back in my office on Monday and not before, inshallah. I hope to not come near this place tomorrow. So on Monday, I will send a draft to Reem, and then hopefully Reem will send it out to all of the advisors, even the ones who didn't attend today. And so inshallah, I also want to put it on YouTube so I can put the chapter so you don't have to go through the whole thing as well. So I'm going to put some like chapter timings in it and things like that. Great question. Oh, thanks so much. We appreciate it. You guys, we really love doing this. And just like, I know you guys get the same feeling as being advisors, it's a thankless job. But so we do appreciate it when people do say thank you. So like genuinely, thank you so much. We appreciate that. We look forward to seeing you all. All right, if there aren't any other questions, we're going to go ahead and stop the recording. And we will see you in less than a month. All right. Bye, everyone.